The phone was still buzzing when I dropped it onto my bedsheet. I stared at the ceiling and let the laughter from my family's Sunday table echo in my head. My cousin Philippa's voice, nasal and unforgiving, was clear despite the background clatter. He's going to build robots in Lisbon. Maybe they'll fetch his slippers or his self-esteem. They hadn't known I could hear them then, or maybe they had. With my bedroom door shut and night wrapped around Alfama's narrow alleys, the blue phone light kept blinking as notifications multiplied. I didn't have to open any more messages. The image was viral now. They had posted the clip to Instagram, tagged it to every group, even tagged me. There I was again, cropped in the middle of the conversation, my hands gesturing awkwardly as I tried to explain my internship application at the new robotics research incubator. My mother looked at the camera as if in warning, enough, let him talk, but my aunt snorted, oh, let the boy dream, soon the only robots he'll be riding are the elevators in Campo Grande. The 30-second video had been cut to the moment I stumbled over my words, voice cracking. I want to build something that changes people's lives. Then silence before the room erupted in laughter. The comment section was a trail of little firecrackers. Going to turn Alfama into Transformers. Robocop Lisbon editions. Mate, we have enough bots with these scooters everywhere. The shame started as a tingle in my ears and spread like heat crawling out from the center of my chest. I rolled onto my side, curling tight around a pillow, trying not to remember the look on my uncle's face, the mixture of amusement and pity. Outside, the city moaned with old sounds. A tram winding past the Merodero, seagulls shrieking, someone thumping on a yellowed guitar. It all felt miles away, or maybe I just wanted to be. For the next week, I only left my room for food. My mother was kind, too kind. She'd hover over me with plates of caldo verde, stroking my hair, whispering, "Liz, don't listen, they're jealous." But I could hear her in the kitchen later, the worry soft in her voice. The shame followed me to school and the metro, even after I deleted every app off my phone. At the University Robotics Club, Joe and Marta tried to cheer me up with their own stories of public embarrassment, but I could see their eyes flicker every time my name was mentioned online. Still, my hands remembered the feel of servos, and my mind lit up at the sight of code on my battered laptop screen. Each night I returned to my bench, fiddling with parts scavenged from flea markets and repair shops, stealing moments of quiet focus when the world outside seemed intent on mocking me into silence. Spring came early that year, dusting the tiled streets with the scent of orange blossom. I took the tram out to Arios for the university's Maker Fair, hands trembling around the box of prototypes I'd managed to cobble together. A robotic limb that could grip an egg without cracking it, a toy dog that danced, and a little exoskeleton hand for people with arthritis, made from recycled fishing lines and elastic bands. No one from my family came. I wasn't surprised. When the newspaper man snapped my photograph beside my egg hand, it felt like a distant trick, someone else's lucky day. But there was one judge who lingered by my work. He asked questions I'd never heard before. How did you calculate the server range? Did you design your own sensors? He wore a plain jacket, his beard streaked with white, and introduced himself as Dr. Machado from the robotics lab out near Amadora. You should come in for an interview, he said, touching the toy dog's head as it spun in circles. We need stubborn fools. Shame still trailed me, but courage started as a flickering pulse, just enough to squeeze his hand and say, I'll come. I promise. The summer was a season of obsession. I lost myself in diagrams, circuit boards, 3D printer fumes. My world shrank to a windowless workshop behind a shuttered bakery on Rua de Senhora de Sword, the walls crowded with wires and blueprints. At first the work was menial labor, sorting parts, logging deliveries, helping grad students debug code, but I watched, listened, memorized. I failed, often and loudly. My prototype gloves would stutter, the finger joints freezing or flying off entirely during tests. The engineers laughed, good-natured but never cruel. Dr. Machado would stand behind me, eyebrows raised. You don't have to get it right, only better, that's the work. Fingers covered in solder, eyes dog-tired from too many nights spent tracing error logs, I began piecing together the shadow of my dream. A light modular exosuit for elderly people, designed to slip beneath their clothes. No batteries strapped to their waist, no wires to trip over. Lisboa was an old city, its bones cracked by stairs, hills, uneven stones. If my hands remembered how my grandmother used to lean on me, wrists trembling, then the suit could learn to carry her. I wrote the grant proposal in broken, anxious English. Marta helped edit it, and Joe lent me money for the application fee. We crossed our fingers, sent it to every funder we could find, and forgot about it as the sun hammered heat against Lisbon's terracotta roofs. That autumn, I forgot to check my email for 3 days. There was the reply, hidden between security alerts and spam. Congratulations, your proposal has been selected for a development grant by the Horizon Europe Fund. I screamed, startling the pigeons from the workshop window. Dr. Machado shook my hand, and for the first time I saw his eyes crinkle at the corners. With the grant came pressure, expectations built like the summer dust choking. Journalists visited, snapping photos as I stood beside diagrams filled with words I barely understood. Councilmen wanted demonstrations. Old professors returned, suddenly interested, suddenly supportive. Once I crossed the square on market day and an old neighbor intercepted me, grinning. "My son Marinho saw you on TV. You make robots for the old ladies, eh?" But it was playful now, not mocking. Underneath the congratulations, I felt only more exposed. The grant money sat in a bank account, ticking down. My hands worked night and day, tuning motors, debugging code, burning through failures. Once at 3 a.m. I broke down, shoulders shaking, cheeks sticky with solder and tears. My mother called. "Are you eating, sleeping?" I couldn't answer her. Voices rushed back. My father in the corridor. "He'll never make a living at that." My aunt. "Robots, bah, let him get a proper job like Rui's lawyer boy." But each failure was smaller than the last. The prototype suit grew lighter. The code grew sharper. When Marta's grandmother tried it, she stood tall, her walk more certain. We took video of that first test. She gasped, then walked the length of the courtyard, eyes shining. Even the pigeons seemed to hush for her. We sent the footage to the funders. They wanted more. As the project gathered steam, news spread. The city council reached out. They wanted to see if my exosuit could help residents in the Alfama, especially those with limited mobility. I hesitated. That meant going home, going back to the hills and alleyways and the faces that had waited, gleeful and scornful, for my big dream to fail. But courage, once started, is hard to stop. "Liz, you have to go," Marta told me, hands folded by her coffee. "You built this for them, didn't you?" The night before, I hardly slept. I remembered walking the sloping alley as a boy, tripping over loose stones, trying not to cry so that my cousin Philippa wouldn't tease me. Now, as we loaded the van with prototypes, newspaper crews, doctors and caregivers, my heart beat in my throat. The first thing I saw turning into my old street was the laundry. Towels and shirts strung high on lines, flapping like tired flags. The next was my uncle sitting outside the cafe with his espresso and a betting slip. He recognized me at once, his eyebrows disappearing behind silver hair. "Lewis. My God, they said you were coming, but imagine." I managed a nod, hands clutching the case that held my suit. "Good morning, Tio." He grinned, eyes flicking over the cameras and the shiny white van. "Look at the prodigal robot. Come for a coffee?" Philippa was there too, leaning in the doorway. She hadn't changed, her broad face quick to judge. "So it's true, you bring your little toys home." For a second, her voice was the same as that viral video, mocking too loud. Except this time there were people watching. Journalists, neighbors, city representatives. Even my mother, her anxious gaze peeking from behind a window. I swallowed hard. Not toys, machines that help people walk. "Would you like to see?" A crowd formed as the team set up in the shade of the old olive tree. I took out the suit, white frame, small motors quiet as a whisper, straps designed for trembling fingers. The local doctors had chosen a volunteer, Senor Abilio, who lived 2 doors down and was famous for his cobblestone curses and stiff back. I explained gently, kneeling to help him into the suit. His hands shook, but his eyes were bright. When the motors whirred to life, he straightened. The crowd fell into a stunned, watchful silence. Philippa, arms folded, tried to mutter something, but her words trailed off as Senor Abilio pushed the walker away, left it standing. He took, step by step, the stretch of pavement that he hadn't dared walk without help in years. People cheered, some wept. Above the din, I heard someone say, "The boy did it. Little Lewis built a real miracle." My uncle clapped loudly enough for the street to hear. Even Philippa's face cracked. She tried to hide her tears, pretending to focus on her phone. As the team helped the old man out of the suit, he grasped my forearm, eyes wet. "You gave me my legs, rapaz. I danced on this street when I was 18. I thought I'd never walk it again, thank you." The mayor's aide shook my hand. The journalist snapped more pictures. My hands trembled, but it was a different kind of shaking, no longer from shame. But the moment I remember best is quieter. My mother slipped through the crowd, pulling me close, her hands warm on the back of my neck. "I never doubted you," she whispered, voice cracking, "never once." After the demonstration, we packed up, pieces of the future boxed in padded foam. The house was filled with plates of food, neighbors streaming in, clapping me on the back, asking for photos with the robot boy. My uncle poured too large a glass of wine for me. Philippa found me in the kitchen, embarrassed, lips pressed thin. "I shouldn't have made fun, back then." She shifted, glancing at the floor. "I didn't know it would be like this." I tried to laugh, throat tight. Most of us never know. We just try anyway. She nodded, shoulders dropping. "For what it's worth, my Rui could use a hand with his aching knees. You could use him as a test case." We laughed together, and I let the noise of the house fill the world, the scrape of chairs, the distant pop of fado from a radio, my mother humming as she washed grapes in the sink. Upstairs, the streetlights flickered into life, glazing the blue tiles with gold. Later, alone in my old room, I searched for the viral video, the one where my voice cracked under pressure and the table's laughter crashed down. This time I watched it all the way through. It still strung, but the shame had faded, leaving something cleaner behind. Success was never loud. It crept in like light at dawn, revealing corners I'd thought impossible to reach. And coming home, with proof carried in both hands, I finally understood. My dream was never just mine. It was for this crooked, stubborn city, and for all of us who once felt ridiculous for hoping. I set the phone aside, and from outside came the sound of life in Alfama. A cat yowling, a neighbor calling a good night, the gentle click of someone's cane on ancient stone as they made their slow, triumphant way home.